Welcome back, my nomads. Welcome back to another Bitcast. I'm back here with Zach. What's going on, Zach?
Baby girl, happy Friday.
What just happened? Just lost him.
Whoa. That was like you froze for a second and then you're good.
Yeah, same with you.
All right. I have nothing going on my computer. I have no idea. Everything's fine. All right, perfect. Yeah, no, happy Friday, man. How's everything?
It's going good. Just chilling with the family and stuff, man. How's everything with you?
I'm all right. Work, all that good stuff. Family's all right.
Word. All right. So I want to get through these topics pretty quick because I want to talk about the movie we're going to talk about today. Got some things to say.
Good or bad?
I'll let you be the judge. All right, so let's talk about Deadpool and Wolverine. Is the number one R-rated movie in history. Nah, I didn't see that coming at all.
What was it before?
It was the highest gross. It was aiming. It hit the 1 billion.
What was
mark.
the movie? But that was before. Was it John Wick or something?
Oh dang! I'm just drawing a blank.
So remember when Wedding Crashers was the number one rated R movie of all time when it came out?
Yes, I do. Yes.
All right, and then there was something after that, and I forget.
Oppenheimer is number 3, I believe.
Okay.
Let's find.
And that was a risk for Chris Nolan because he doesn't typically do those type of R rating. He's done 2.
Right. Yes, he has.
His first one and Memento and this one and Oppenheimer.
Oh, The Matrix Reloaded, Passion of the Christ. Oh, nice.
Passion of Christ. Okay, Matrix. Okay, that makes sense.
Joker is number 2.
Interesting.
I did not see that coming.
I've only seen it once and it was okay.
Thank you, because I feel the same exact way.
It's cool. It's just okay. It's just.
It wasn't for me. Now, this is based on Wikipedia, but I've seen the same list on a different website, so this is probably true, because Oppenheimer's number 3, and I also saw that Joker was number 2. I forgot that it was number 2. So this list could be right. Deadpool,
Saving Private Ryan. Oh wow! So Saving Private Ryan was like the movie for a long time. If you look at it.
Yeah.
Gladiator, nice.
The Matrix Reloaded is number 6. I am surprised.
The Revenant, the Leo movie that he won his Oscar in.
The Passion of the Christ, number 10, still makes the top 10. Which is interesting because I feel like that's a movie you can only see once, and then you're like,
why? Who wants to watch that more than once?
Well, but then again, I got to think about it. Like, there's a large percentage of Christians in the world, so it's a worldwide movie. So all those people seeing it once probably helped it get to where it is. But The Hangover Part 2 is number 11. Okay,
Troy,
American Sniper number 14. All right,
good one.
Yeah, Troy's number 23. I love Troy.
Pretty Woman.
I love Gladiator. Pretty Woman.
A Star Is Born. You got some Bradley Cooper movies on this.
Oh, yeah.
The King's Speech is good, too. Colin Firth.
Never seen that.
He played King George, Elizabeth's father.
Oh, gotcha.
Wolf of Wall Street. Only meet that little? Really?
Interesting.
True Lies, number 50. The Exorcist.
Top
Look
50.
at The Exorcist. 1973, right?
Right.
It took until... Let's look at this list. How long did it take for that record to be broken?
30 years.
Saving Private Ryan broke it. That was the last... That's wild. We had a 25-year span of them owning that record.
That's crazy.
Wow. And in The Exorcist, everyone's seen multiple times. That's just something you see, right? But dang, 25, I know, right? But 25 years, that's pretty impressive, man.
Yeah, that is. But I'm surprised I'm not seeing The Godfather. Or did I miss it?
Because think of it, right? We're going into the 70s. How much was a movie ticket?
Nothing, pennies.
Exactly. You would have to have everyone in the entire country see it 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, true.
And
theaters weren't really, there weren't as much theaters on top of that.
I mean, The Exorcist is a different example. Is this domestic or worldwide?
I believe this is worldwide. Let me check.
So The Exorcist is probably got a lot of different things for Halloween stuff. Godfather really,
This is worldwide.
Okay, yeah. So that makes more, Exorcist had to have been a worldwide hit versus The Godfather, which is pretty much just contained here, I would assume too, right?
Probably. Yeah.
But no, let's look at Deadpool and Wolverine, right? 1.1 billion. That's a healthy number.
I think it's still counting too, because they announced that they're going to keep this in theaters for a while. So people are going to keep going back. I plan to keep going back. I've only seen it once. I do want to see it twice. And it's just, I understand, for me, yes, structurally it doesn't work. There's a lot of holes in it, but it's one of those movies you just sit back, relax, turn your brain off, and have fun. Because I was just talking to one of my boys. This has been the worst season, the worst year of summer movies. There's really nothing. There's Twisters and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay, Twister was good.
And name another movie in the summertime. Nothing.
Give me something last year.
I feel like
nothing. At least this year had Twisters, Deadpool and Wolverine. There's been some things.
John Wick was last year, wasn't it? But that was April, I think.
John Wick 4?
I think it was April last year, right? He comes out in the spring, right? The movies come out in the spring.
Oh, I think it was later than that, bro.
I don't remember. Now that's a movie that does deserve to be.
It came out March 6th. That
franchise. Yeah. That's a spring movie franchise.
So there we go. March 6th. So that wasn't even the summer, dude.
And I remember The Batman came out in 2021 in March. And that would have been another good summer movie to watch.
It should come out in Halloween. It should have came out in Halloween. A lot of the stuff that was 2023 what came out. So you had Oppenheimer, Guardians of the Galaxy.
That was summer.
Barbie. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, The Little Mermaid, Sound of Freedom, Indiana Jones, Elemental, Transformers, Fast 10.
Okay, it had a lot of stuff in the summer last year. This year is bare as hell, bro.
Super Mario Brothers movie. I wonder why. Oh, you know what? It's the writer's strike, dude.
Oh, also, yes, it is the writer's strike, and no, it's not the writer's strike. Because thinking about it, there has been movies coming out this summer. They just been trash, bro. Trash. And the movies that came out this summer were in development for a while before the writer's strike. But look at Borderlands. Garbage. You could look at that trailer and be like, I'm not seeing that. The Crow. Garbage. You could look at that trailer and be like, I'm not seeing that. So it's just been a lot of trash movies coming out. And Deadpool and Wolverine, although structurally doesn't work, it's still a fun movie, and it's full of fan service. It does what it's supposed to do, and it's self-aware as hell. That's the thing about all of the Deadpool movies.
I think that was the whole point of it. It's supposed to have holes. Yes. That's the whole point.
Yes, and that's the gag
because
too,
the fourth wall is constantly being broken, and that's the, it's the wink, wink to the audience.
Yeah, it reminds me of some of those like one-off comics with Deadpool's like Deadpool kills the Punisher or Deadpool kills Wolverine, Deadpool kills the universe. It's like it's full of holes and you're like that would never work. He would never beat that guy, but it's just funny as
Because
hell.
in the comic books, Deadpool was multiple personality disorder and schizophrenic. But in
Yep.
here, he knows that he's in the movie, so it plays to that, and people think he's nuts that way. So
Yeah.
that's how it translates, right?
Yes. And then you have Ryan Reynolds who's always self-aware. You know, I said it before on the podcast. I was poking holes in it when I was watching it. Then I remembered that video that he put out was like, this is a movie where it's not going to make sense. It's not supposed to. We're just having fun. And, and he went on this rant for like a
He's one of the
minute.
best marketers for
Oh,
himself ever.
yes. I mean, Mint Mobile alone, he sold it, but he's still doing the commercials and they're making millions of dollars off of this guy just just from him running his mouth.
He's a
You know.
smart dude.
Oh yeah, he's so business savvy. Even before he blew up as an actor, I read about how he was such like a business savvy guy, and then he decided to be an actor and just killed it in that field too. So it's like the guy knows what he's doing, man. He's great, and he's like, why would I hire a marketing team? I am the marketing team, and he just kills it whatever he does. So I'm not surprised Deadpool. Well, I am surprised Deadpool and Wolverine is the number one rated R movie of all time, but I think it's well deserved because it gave the fans exactly what they wanted after years and years of entertainment companies not listening to the fans and pushing agendas. This
And
is
getting
exactly
Hugh
what we need.
Jackman too, because there would have been only one person to get Hugh Jackman to come back for this.
Oh yeah, he said it. Hugh Jackman said it years ago. He was like, I'd only come back if I could do it with Ryan, and the movie gods heard him and answered our prayers. So, and he killed it in the movie. I mean, come on, man. He was great. So, and now I think they messed up because now people are like, you can't recast him. Just bring him back. So I feel like Disney now is like in a rut. They're like, oh, we're
Hugh
victims of
Jackman's
our own
closer to
success.
60 than he is to 50. He can't maintain
Oh
this
yeah,
body and level forever. Like, there's no way.
no, like he looked great, but he was smaller, obviously.
At
You
what
know,
cost?
his marriage. I think his marriage had the Tom Brady effect where he was like, I'm coming back. I'm not staying retired.
Oh, you
And his
mean
wife
him
was
not
just
being
like,
secretly gay didn't have anything to do with it?
oh, what's the next topic? It's funny that you say that. I just got to say something. It's funny that you say that because he went on a crazy regimen and workout routine and he got big for Deadpool and Wolverine. But he also went on tour for The Last Showman for 2 months. So he was singing and dancing for 2 months, and he lost so much muscle mass, which is why he looks kind of smaller. But he's shredded, but he looks smaller in the movie. And I'm like, this guy cannot stop singing and dancing, not even for 2 months, man. like, damn it, bro! Like, you had the body and you lost it. Like, well, you just can't sit down for 2 months. So it's funny that you say that. I'm like, this guy cannot stop singing and like, all right.
He has a good voice.
He does. He does. He almost lost his voice because playing Wolverine for years, he kept roaring and it was messing up his throat. He had to do
He
like therapy on
there was
his.
a Rick and Morty episode of him being
Uh,
him, and he would sing and dance in that entire show.
was he voicing it or was it like
It was him voicing it and had his Australian accent, and he would be singing, you know, and he would just be like, "It's really good." And
oh my gosh.
yeah, it's very well done. He calls him. You just watch it. I'm not going to get into it, but
Yeah,
it's very funny.
I'm just like for once, just sit down and stop.
And he wears like a white wife beater and tucks it into jeans the entire time.
But Deadpool and Wolverine just proves that you do not have to be PG-13 to sell movies. Okay, for so long, Wolverine movies were PG-13. The studio did not have the balls to make
But
them rated
see, that's
R.
not it. See, but the thing is, culture is different now in terms of what's viewed that way too. because when the Wolverine movie came out 10, 15 years ago, there was still a shift on what was and wasn't acceptable for kids and stuff to see. And now, since there's really no limits to that, this is where we're at.
True. I'll be looking at kids and I'm like, you watch that? You're like, your parents watch that? Your parents let you play Mortal Kombat? Okay. All right.
See?
You're like 6 years old,
Yeah,
ripping somebody's guts out.
There's no, it's just all crass. It is what it is. But I definitely think that has a lot to do with it, because you see the Wedding Crashers, like when it broke all those records and stuff like 20 years ago, like it was unheard of.
Oh, yeah. It was like, this is an anomaly.
People didn't really, kids didn't really see rated R movies the way they do now. Like the ratings are just, it doesn't mean anything.
Right. All right. Let's get on to the next topic, man. I see you put RFK endorses Trump. Did not see that coming.
Sarcasm, or are you being serious?
A bit of both. I felt like the more that RFK talked, the more he lost his audience. Because in the beginning, he was doing good. Then it was like, I'm making this up, but he'd just be like, oh, yeah, we should stop killing the middle class. We should stop doing this, and I was on Mars yesterday. What? Like, he would just come out of nowhere and just say some crazy shit.
His wife is, right?
Yes.
Cheryl Hines?
Larry David's on-screen wife, ex-wife.
On Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yes,
that's her. So here's the thing, because he is definitely against the grain of what modern Hollywood thinking is, for obvious reasons, right? And she's married to him, and it's pretty much political royalty, that last name, right? How do you juggle that? Like, how does she even get work?
Is she still working? I haven't seen her in a while, bro.
Because I feel like everyone in Hollywood has endorsed Kamala Harris, right? For whatever reason, at this point, it's just like, okay.
I think it's desperation.
Well, yeah, of course.
Now, don't get me wrong; she's very.
You see all of their social media. You see all their social media stuff. I'm with her type of things. Like, oh God, give me a break.
I think people are just tired of Trump.
They have been. It doesn't mean anything, right?
It seemed like he got a little shook by that assassination attempt.
Wouldn't you?
Hell yeah.
I guess when you're like an inch, not even half an inch from death type of thing, it changes things, right?
Oh yeah. Like, big time.
I think for him, though, here's the thing, right? Because you had a lot of people who felt not true independence, but people felt disenfranchised from either party, mostly on the left, that kind of, I guess, identified with RFK a lot better. And, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, look, he got ousted from the party for whatever reason. I got to align myself with him. And I think him backing Trump is important in a couple ways. One, you're starting to see people who are more middle are automatically being viewed as right from the left, right? Like, there's no levels of left, but there's levels of right. You get what I'm saying? Like, you see a lot of
100%.
people on the left that are just, oh yeah, I could be moderately left, or I have some left principles, but they're still going to go all in on the stuff that you disagree with vehemently, because that's just how it is. And
I think that's the left's fault too, because you're going to
live and die by this sword, man. Like, hey, if you're willing to go all in on this nonsense, more power to you. I was talking to Heather. It was like, before Trump got shot, I was definitely in that RFK camp where, like, I don't agree with maybe half of the stuff that RFK said, but I'm a moderate person on a lot of things, right? And I saw like what happened during COVID, what happened with just the vaccination, the forcing stuff. Like, there's so many different things. And then when like Trump was being tried for all of this nonsensical stuff that people would get misdemeanors for, that many politicians have done time and time again with campaign funds and that whole witch hunt, and then him getting shot. It's like,
he's a convicted rapist, but yeah, sure.
Who? Trump hasn't
Trump?
been convicted of anything. He's not criminally convicted of anything.
Are we sure?
100%. You can't be a sexual. You can't. He's not. He's the only thing he's a convicted felon on is the Class E felony that he had for misappropriating campaign funds. Any of that other stuff is civil stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which is
right.
different. And at that point, the burden of proof is way different for who's guilty and who's not. Type of that's a whole different structure of what's allowed and what's not, right? And you can have a whole jury that's just biased towards Trump, and they'll say we're not going to listen to anything and just give it to the plaintiff and just call it a day, right? Which just happens to be the case. But anyway, I just feel like now we're just in this Texas Hold'em type of thing, where these cards that are just being dealt are just it feels like it's out of our control in a lot of aspects, right?
Yeah. I mean, because it is. I mean, let's be real. Do you ever think, because like the entertainment industry is going to a shift. For years, the entertainment industry hasn't listened. We're talking about video games and movies, haven't listened to the audience about what they want. They've just been pushing their agenda. And now they have to start listening. You're seeing drastic changes in the formula. I mean, Lucasfilm is even reportedly, I just saw this, got rid of all of the Acolyte merch. Canceled season 2, but also got rid of the merch. You can't buy anything from that show anymore.
Yeah.
So do you think the political space will follow suit?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example, right? Because the DNC is a good example of this. The left for the last 7 or 8 years has been about this identity politics that you're pretty much qualified to be something based on whatever your orientation, whatever your race, whatever it is, supersedes whatever experience you have on that particular thing. And while that still may be the case, you're starting to see a shift that they're starting to separate themselves. Kamala in particular is starting to do that. You're starting to see certain things distance themselves, like they're very pro-patriot. The Maryland governor was talking about how, I'll give you a synopsis of what he said. He said that, the people who constantly complain about this country are the ones who aren't doing enough to sacrifice for the betterment of the country. Why do we need to listen to them? I was like, why is this all of a sudden a talking point for you guys when for years you talked about getting rid of the police, getting rid of, all this insanity with crime and just letting people do whatever, and the lack of accountability, the idea that you can have kids dictate their own like sex and just all this stuff, right? And it's now you understand that this stuff is a virus that you've created and that you've fostered and grown, and it's bad for business, so you're going to do a complete 180. How disingenuous is that, right? Like, but you see it, but the writing's on the wall, right? Like, how many bad movies does Disney have to do for they're like, you know what? Maybe we've lost $1 billion in the last 2 years for a reason.
I feel like it's more than $1 billion.
But
Did you see that Snow White trailer?
Yeah, I'm giving you a number though. You get what I'm saying,
right?
Or Ubisoft losing this, and then they're going to take a big shit on the Star Wars game or any of the Assassin's Creed game. Take your pick, right? But this is where we're at now, and there has to be a back to normalcy in this. Like you catered to an outrage mob for so long that you actually started realizing they're not the ones spending money. They don't have the money for it because they're all in debt with their art history degrees that they don't have any jobs for. And this is where we're at. It's a reckoning, and I hope it kind of stays on this track. And it's because money talks. You know what I mean? In terms of this, so I think we're going to have a middle in terms of what the culture war is between the left and the right, and it's going to go back to what. We shouldn't have arguments with what a man and a woman is. We should never call a woman who's a mother a birthing person and stuff like that. It's like there's going to be some undeniable universal truths that we can all agree on, and we shouldn't even have this argument to begin with.
All that we're witnessing right now is the pendulum balancing itself out. When you swing it one way drastically, it's going to eventually end up back in the middle. That's all we're
Well, you
seeing.
hope.
And just to be clear, I was wrong. I don't want to say something and then not say that I'm wrong when I'm wrong. Trump was found liable of sexual abuse last year and awarded the defendant $5 million in damages. But he was not convicted of rape. He was just found liable of
And
sexual abuse.
he could have been liable for the criminal stuff, but we're so far outside the statute of limitations that people, you know how it is, right?
Yeah, this was from the 90s that this
Come
case
on.
came up.
Are we kidding me?
Come on, guys. Come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, yeah. Remember 30 years ago? I didn't like how you touched. Come on, bro.
You liked it then because he was bigger than life and he was famous, and you liked the fact he gave you attention. And now, since he's this,
I might not like
figure,
the guy, but this is ridiculous. All right, come on, because this was last year that this happened, that he was found liable. So 1990 to 2023. Come on, man. Let's stop the bullshit. Come on. If you're gonna try to take somebody down, do it the right way. All right. Anyway, let's get Megalopolis. My friend. I saw the trailer that you told me to check out.
And?
Yo, this is like his swan song, I feel like. This is him like telling Hollywood to go F yourself, because my man is highlighting, like, I forgot how many iconic movies this man's made. All right,
he's
reminded the audience.
If you can name 10, he's done 5 of them.
Yes, and the fact that he's putting them up in the trailer before he starts to show you what his new movie is and showing all the bad reviews, I'm like, that's the biggest flex of all time. This is a guy who can talk it and show it. All right, he could talk it and walk it, bro.
And he's like 95 years old.
I love it. And there's a reason why all these great creative people want to work with him. I mean, this cast looks amazing. This movie looks amazing. And
but
it looks like it's going to be a great
think of it, right? Like he's old, right? You're thinking of these actors who are pretty much prominent in their fields. Like, how many opportunities are you going to have left to do something with him?
0.
Not a
this
lot.
Might be his last project.
No, he's got 3 more that are in production right now, or in pre-production.
See, that's the key to longevity. It doesn't matter how old you are. Just keep working your brain. Whether you're doing puzzles, chess, or if you can do creative things, on a small or bigger scale. That's the key to longevity. You ever see somebody who's retired and they just watch TV and they just waste away?
Yeah, they die.
You got to keep your brain like I've met people like him who are still working, who are like 90 years old, and they're quick and they're talking to you and they're talking fast and they're quick and quibby. I'm like, oh, that's the key. That's the key right there. Like your father-in-law, I'm like, yeah, he's still working, still passionate about what he does, and the guy's quick and on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the key to longevity. So I'm definitely checking this out in IMAX for sure. I mean, look at that. That's not a movie you see on
Do you think this is Oscar baity material? Or do you think he just doesn't care about that anymore?
If he wasn't 90, I would say it is Oscar baity. But he's 90 and he's done so many iconic movies, I think he just doesn't give a fuck. He's like, look, this is what I want to do. Take it or leave it.
He's got a whole shelf of Oscars. Who cares at this point, right?
He sold his vineyard to finance this movie. And I see people online commenting on the trailer like, we appreciate you selling your vineyard to give us this. Like that's how like people want him to come back. And I feel like people are tired of all these movies coming out that feel like they're from an assembly line. Like you look at Megalopolis, the trailer for this, it looks like a passion project. And we need more of those. Because these movies that are being made by committee is just not cutting.
Yeah, it's like cookie cutter, right? It may look different, but you see the same aspects. It's like, oh man, like how many trailers with AI are you going to use?
Like yeah, right. I seen the trailer for Borderlands because I didn't watch the movie because I saw the trailer. I see the trailer for Borderlands and I'm like, that movie looks like it's being made out of committee. Because why do you have Kevin Hart as Roland? Like, if you know, you know. If you play the game, you got Kevin Hart as Roland, Kate Blanchett as Lilith. Like, that doesn't fit at all. like these actors are like in their 50s playing characters in their 20s. And why do you have no offense to Kevin Hart, but why do you have a small, funny guy playing Roland, the straight man, who's a soldier, who's big as hell and buff? And then everything looked fake. It looked like they made it everything was inside on green screen. And, I don't know. I have no issues with CGI, but there's a way to do it to make it look right. And it looked like this was made by a committee. People were like, oh, just put it in the volume or put it on the green screen and, get Kevin Hart. He's funny, right? I don't know, man. Like I said,
speaking of Borderlands, the 4th game came out, was revealed to be out next year.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Especially since
we got to think about a franchise. What is a franchise of games that have been nothing but good on every single game? Borderlands is one of those few rare ones that every single one is fantastic.
Yep. Here's hoping that Halo gets itself together. Jeez.
Yeah, but there's been some bad ones.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping it gets
the first 3 together. Were amazing.
Yeah, and then, I mean, let's go on to better news. So this is what I really want your opinion on. War for Rohirrim. Rohirrim, thank you.
Show me that you're not a Lord of the Rings fan without saying Rohirrim right.
I don't pronounce anything good. What do you think it is?
Peter Jackson's producing it, by the way.
Yeah, I know, but he also did the Hobbit trilogy, so let's not get carried away. I understand that wasn't his fault, though. That was the studio.
How do I feel about this? Like, you want me to think that I'm going to go see this? Because I probably won't.
It's coming out in theaters.
Yeah.
This is an anime movie.
It's more of a reason for me not to go see it.
I don't know how I truly feel. I feel like no one knows what to do with the Lord of the Rings franchise.
Is Amazon doing this because Amazon has the rights?
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. Because it seems like Warner Brothers still has some kind of rights, like video games or something like that, or animated. I don't know.
Oh,
but
God.
It feels like no one knows what to do. Like, I feel like Lord of the Rings, the trilogy was too perfect to where no one can bring out anything good afterwards, even if Peter Jackson is involved. So, and you said you saw this trailer. Have you read the books?
Yes.
Now, this character, the main actress, or the main girl, do you know anything about her, or do you feel this is...
It's not anything to do with the books.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. See, now I don't want to see it. Because it's... You know what this reminded me of? This reminded me of Rings of Power when I watched this trailer.
Rings of Power is at least based on characters from the books, and you're just taking some creative license in terms of,
Because I see another...
Prefacing with... using the index to kind of fulfill holes and stuff like that, right? But here's the thing. I feel like when you have these major franchises, like they have blunders after blunders because they just don't... How we were just talking about Deadpool and Wolverine, fan service. They can't do this with these movies for whatever reason. I'm like, why do you think your franchise is worth $1 billion? Because of the fans. Give them what they want. Why is that so hard?
Thank you.
Why do you have to go ahead and spin and do your own thing that no one asked for?
Thank you. Yeah, because this just seems like something that, is more of what we've been getting the past 5 years.
You're being nice.
I,
5?
I'm trying. Yeah, it's been longer. It's just been really out there for 5 years, but it's been longer. But when
You
I
know what
see this,
caused
I
all
see.
this? I think we can blame Marvel for this because there was just so much content that everyone just thinks now the only way you can get successful with building a massive franchise is just movie bomb everything.
Yes, yes,
And that's not how that
and
works.
not even Marvel knows why they got to the success that they got.
Dude, I mean, I think it's lightning in the bottle because it's the first of its kind, right? Think of it as Fortnite, right? Like Fortnite was the first royale battle royale type of game, and so many tried to replicate it, and it fall very very flat on their face on the floor. And it's the same thing. You get the first of a kind, something that's new that people are into, and they're like, ooh. But then you run out of it. Like that magic goes away because it kind of gets stale, and that's where we're at.
I mean, this comment says how I feel. Um, Somebody said it seems that anything new related to the Lord of the Rings requires that there must be at least one scene of a woman climbing the side of an icy mountain cliff.
Mm,
And
that's
I'm
where we're
like,
at.
yeah, yeah. All right. That being said, let's go on to Dallas Buyers Club because you told me to check this out.
Hmm.
And is there anything you want to
Based
say
on
about
your
this movie?
recommendations, by the way, based on your stipulations.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes, I remember that now. You want to get into it?
Let's get into it. All right. So I like this movie for a couple things. And it's been a while since I've seen it. I saw it when it was really new. God, that was 11
Mm.
years ago. It reminded me of it's very fascinating to see Matthew McConaughey's ascent to where
Mm-hmm.
he's at now, where you just saw him typecasted as the goof to as the guy that can really do some really fantastic parts and hammer it home. And this
Mm-hmm.
movie solidified the fact that obviously he can hammer it home and he can do pretty much anything if you give him the chance. And then he had that opportunity from here on out, right? With Dark Tower, with the True Detective series, which was fantastic, with The Gentleman. You know, I'm just thinking of a couple and he's just done
Interstellar.
awesome work. Interstellar, thank you. He's just done fantastic work. And this movie is probably one of the best well acted movies in terms of that, right? Just pure acting talent. Everyone hits it
Mm-hmm.
so well. You know what I mean? It's just, it works so well because of the acting. It's obviously got, it's not one of those movies that you sit there to enjoy. It's not an enjoyable movie in that sense because it's just so depressing,
It hits you
but
hard.
it's very well done.
Yeah. So this movie, just to get a little information, this movie's budget was so small. The hair and makeup department had only $250, um, which is very very little. Uh, they didn't.
And how
So
much
the
they
secret.
make from this? They made a lot of money from this.
Yeah, they made a lot of money, and the secret sauce to making good scenes, like good mise en scene, is the camera lens and the lights. Now, this movie's budget was so small, they had a regular camera with two lenses, a 35 millimeter and a 50 millimeter. That's it. And on top of that, they only had two lights, two LED lights. That's it, which is insane for a Hollywood production. So it was shot like an indie film. And I
Mm.
remember this movie. This is the first time I've seen this movie, but I remember studying this movie in film school for lighting. And the lesson was about how to light a scene with everyday lights that are in a room. And I'm watching this movie and I'm just impressed because I'm like, yeah, they shot this whole movie with regular lights that are all around us, which is very hard to do. and it's hard to explain without, if you're not in the industry or if you don't know anything about film, it's hard to explain, but it's really hard to do that, you know. And we would take shots of scenes off of Google, and we would just try to recreate them in class. But it's very impressive
But
how
was
they
it,
shot
what
this
was it?
movie.
Was it The Creator or District 9 or one of these other movies where they had not the hugest budget, but they used natural light to drown out the flaws of the CGI?
Neil Blomkamp, and it's funny. I just watched a video essay about his work on District 9 and
Because
stuff
you
like
were
that. So
talking about that, yes, thank you, District 9. Yeah, because the CGI at the time, like, it lacks in certain things, so you use light to distort um,
mm,
the shortcomings of it, which is brilliant. In this case, it's to enhance everything because
yes,
that's all you have.
yes, and like I was very impressed with the lighting and stuff. And like you said, I mean the performances are amazing. And this movie is really like, it's about like during the AIDS epidemic, and it kind of reminded me of like what's that play? Uh, ah, that song 10,000. Oh, Rent. Um, I mean, obviously it's different tonal wise, but Rent is like that too, where it just hits you hard. You know, Rent starts off cheery and then it just hits you hard in the end, whereas this movie is like hitting you hard throughout. You know what I'm saying? So I really enjoyed this movie. Um, a bigoted asshole, you know, turns into a human when he's diagnosed with a terminal illness, and he tries to do some good in the world. And I really liked what they did with
Real
it, and
guy,
like
by
the
the way. This is based on a real dude.
yes. Now this is where there's some issues. So this movie, I found out, is like The Social Network. Great movie, highly inaccurate. Same thing with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie, great movie. I love it. It's great. Not something I would necessarily watch again, but that's just because it's depressing. Dallas Buyers Club is a work of fiction
Mm-hmm.
because the real guy was not a hero. um, all this in the movie was bullshit. You
The
know,
real guy was pretty much a drug dealer and peddler.
yes. Who in the movie it shows his drugs like peptide T was working and helping to save him. Bullshit. In real life, there was nothing proven that it was working, and actually it would hurt people. A lot of his drugs that he brought from Mexico in real life was hurting and killing people. All right, and AZT wasn't as bad as they were portraying it in the movie. You know, if you had the right dosage, people would actually stay alive longer than when they
But
joined the Dallas Buyers Club.
initially, people were taking a lot more of it than what it had to, and that was causing the
Right,
adverse reactions. And this movie is an indictment on the pharma industry too, as you can tell, right? Like,
rightfully
kind of,
so.
yeah, you can see how the FDA and the pharmaceutical companies that need to get these drugs approved, how they kind of like they're willing to, during times of turmoil, willing to supersede rules and jump over regulations, i.e., COVID's a great example of things that shouldn't have been passed and it causes more harm than good, right? And there's a
Yes.
lot of money to be made. So that's just, and I mean, in the end, like, if you're terminally ill, and the judge made a good point, like at towards the end, it's like, look, if you're terminally ill, you have every right to do what you think is best for your own body. And
Yeah, to
sometimes
relieve the pain.
the law is not common sense, right? Like the law is the law. If it's not FDA approved, you can't use it, right? And that's the BS part, because then it goes down this, the cynical part of you, or me anyway, thinks that how many drugs could be FDA approved but aren't because it's not guaranteeing a patient again. It's the whole
Yep.
point. It's bringing someone back. The days of altruism with medicine and all this stuff are long over, because these companies have shareholders. They need profit. Profit is not stemmed from guaranteed cures. It's not how that works.
Yep. You can't profit off of a cured patient.
So
You can
yeah, it's how
only
any of this
profit
works,
off
dude.
of.
It's like, and the only way some things get passed is really by luck and right place, right time, and after a while where the money's been made, right, and then that's when things get easier. But that's the catch 22 with our system, right? You either have it socialized to where it takes 10 years to get fixed up, or you got to spend a bunch of money to get the stuff that you need.
So that's why ultimately, even though this movie is highly inaccurate and tries to paint an asshole as a hero, I appreciate this movie because this is still relevant today. I mean, look at who the big bad were in this movie: the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. All right, we're both fathers of young children. My daughter's 1. Your son is a little younger. I'm I'm highly pissed off when I go to the store to get food for my family, and I can't find anything without it being a chemical cesspool. You know.
Oh, with
So now,
preservatives, yeah. I mean, I took all that stuff out of the household. I don't have any of that stuff in there, but it's like literally in everything. It's really tough to take that stuff out,
it's
completely.
so hard. And then the stuff that you can eat that's safe is expensive as hell now.
Mm.
And we the economy's taken a hit since the pandemic. It's funny. I saw a meme that said, "Yo, I'm finally in a new tax bracket. I'm making a lot of money, over 100K, and it feels like I haven't changed at all. Like, it feels like I'm still how I was when I was working like $30,000 a year,
Hmm.
and I feel the same way. It's like making a lot of this money, but it's because I actually want to feed my family shit
Hmm.
that's actually fucking food and not
Hmm.
fucking poison. I'm freaking like in the poorhouse. Like it's crazy, man.
Hmm.
Like I go out of my way to go to the farmers market and get like as much as we can of fresh food. Like I'm not getting meat unless it's on the bone. If it's not on the bone, it's been grown. All right. Like
Got
so.
a dude in a
It,
rocking chair with a shotgun hanging out there, huh? Looking at you, he's like, "What are you doing here, boy?"
just trying to buy some food, sir. It's okay. But like, yo, it's crazy, bro. And you know what pisses me off? I recently found out that all this stuff is approved. All this chemical food is approved by the FDA,
Hmm.
and these companies have factories in America
Hmm.
making this food and giving us bullshit. But then they make the healthy versions and they ship it out to other countries.
Because that's the legal requirements in Europe,
That's wild to me.
like the food
I'm
dyes
like,
and stuff.
yes.
Hmm.
And now they're changing the names. Did you see that? Of food dyes to make them seem more, happy instead of, yellow dye number this. It's like sunshine. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, it's crazy how our own country poisons us for profit, and that's it. You know, it drives me crazy just because they want their food to look more colorful, and they put high fructose corn syrup in everything, because it makes you more docile and it fattens you up and it gets you addicted. They put all the sugar and stuff in our food to get us addicted. Like, look at what sugar does to the human brain, and tell me that's not a drug. Our our FDA is literally allowing these companies to poison and turn us all into addicts
Which
for
again,
profit.
it's funny. Like, just like sidestep. Like, it's one of the things I liked about RFK. He has talked about that from day one.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has.
So whatever position Trump has guaranteed him, I hope it's the FDA something.
That's if he guarantees him a position. Do you think Trump will accept him with open arms?
Of course, he already did. He wouldn't have endorsed him otherwise.
Ah, I don't know, man. I think Trump might be like, "Yo, let's put him in like something that he can't do as much damage. Like let's put him in the
Not at all.
DMV portion
Because
of.
the only way he wins is because of this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because he's been in trouble since
Well, yeah,
Kamala was
the
announced.
Kamala thing has been.
There's like 3 different pronunciations for her name. So like, and I'm pretty sure I just said pronunciation wrong. Pronunciation, yes.
Pronunciation, not pronounce.
Yeah, there's 3 different pronunciations for her name. I can't even say it. Like I'm truly my father's son. I can't say anything right. But like, there's 3 different pronunciations for her name, and I'm like, no, it's Kamala. Think of calm down, Kamala. I just tell that to people.
Kamala.
Because when people be like Kamala, I'm like, no, it's Kamala. Like, think
Kamala.
calm. Yes. And that's the thing everybody does.
Kamala. Big Bang.
Yeah, she's got a Trump scare. He won't debate her.
Stop.
But anyway, he won't. This movie just infuriated me because, you know, it kind of gave a face to a company that I was already pissed off with, the FDA allowing this bullshit to be around. But and and when it comes to the drug portion, you know they're crooks when stem cell research isn't allowed in the US, but you have all this crazy artificial bullshit that they're putting into people instead of trying to actually help them and cure them. It just drove me crazy, and seeing one guy represent that company really pissed me off in this movie. But it's a good movie. You should check it out. Like you can run a whole class on this, and that's what I wanted to say. You made a distinction about how the acting, everything was on point, the directing, and it won the awards for best hair and makeup and lighting and stuff like that on a shoestring budget. And I think that's why it was great, because it had such a small budget. You know, I said it before, I'll say it again. Creativity is bred from limitation. You know, when you get all these limits, people kind of get in their heads like, all right, we got to make this work. So I might have to do more than just what my job is. You know, on these kind of small sets, this film was shot
Jared
in like 20 something
took
days.
that with open arms.
Yeah. I mean,
because he won an Oscar for this too.
Yes, he did, and I might not like the guy, but he killed this role. It was he killed it. It was amazing, and him and Matthew McConaughey lost so much weight. Matthew McConaughey lost 47 pounds. I'm like, dear God, I can't even imagine losing that much weight.
Yeah, did you see how many times he can loop his belt around his waist?
Dear God. And then I'm looking at, I understand this was set in like the mid 80s. But I'm like, he's so skinny. He clearly, there's something wrong with this guy. And he's coughing all the time. Like no one's getting it. Like he's coughing all the time and he's that skinny.
These dudes are playing cards with him. It's like, you good, man? I would have asked him, like, you good? You keep coughing. Every time I see you, you're like, you got the Gollum vibes, you know, like you're
yeah, he's like handing them stuff and coughing, and then one dude actually says, like, Jesus, man, I don't want this after you coughed all over.
Steve Zahn played the cop in here too, which was kind of cool. Like it was, yeah. There's.
I was just surprised that no one.
I mean, back then, dude, people thought if you look at him, you would get AIDS because Anthony Fauci was the one who said that stuff. By the way,
yeah,
Anthony Fauci was the main guy out of the government saying, you know, all the stuff that, you know, there was misconceptions on AIDS, and he was the one saying this stuff like, oh, you could just get it by just kissing someone. I'm like, it's not mono, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
because let's be real, they wanted all the gays dead. Anybody who was gay or otherwise, they wanted all of them dead.
Yes.
You know, so
just these were evil people. Like the war on drugs wanted all black men in prison. Same thing.
Exactly. Prison and dead or what have you. You know, so it was a very dark time. And, you know, before I knew that this was bullshit, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, well, hell, this guy's actually helping these people. That just shows you how evil they are. They just want all of them dead.
Even though he
They
wants
want
his,
all these
even though
people.
he's getting money out of it, he is roundabout helping them in a way that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
he
like
makes a good point. It's like the stuff you're giving us is killing us. So what do you want? Either our terms or yours.
exactly. Like these are people who were literally had an expiration date on their lives and they knew the expiration date. Why do you care? Like it's keeping them from being in pain. Why do you care? Again, this is before I knew the movie was bullshit, but why do you care? It's they care because they wanted them dead. That's just they wanted them dead, and then some executives wanted what's it called test subjects. So
Hold on, I'm
just
looking something up.
goes to show that.
Okay, according to CDC, from 1981 to 1990, 100,700 people died from AIDS.
Jeez.
That's just here in America.
Yeah,
That's wild.
but I wonder. I would have to look this up, but in the movie they talked about how other countries did have approved drugs that were helping.
Yes.
It just wasn't allowed in America
Look
for
at
obvious
Magic
reasons.
Johnson. Where do you think he got his cure from?
Yeah, and he got that way back in the day.
In the 90s.
Yeah, so dude is still living and still looking good.
Well, it's because
You
he's a
know,
billionaire and he was able to get some stuff.
true, but I wanted to point out he looks good because he doesn't look gaunt. Like he
He
doesn't look
doesn't
skinny.
have it anymore. That's the thing. Like that's the difference. Like he obviously
Yeah.
doesn't have it. Like you don't live this long and still have something like this. You get what I'm saying?
You don't live that long and still have the weight he had. Like
Dude,
he was still a big guy.
he's a big dude. He's a healthy dude. Good for
He's a
him.
tall, big guy, and he
Mm-hmm.
was always. I don't remember Magic Johnson looking skinny and sickly. He was always tall and big. Well, I mean, he's not going to get short, obviously, but he was always big, like a
Yeah.
big
No,
dude.
no, yeah, it's true, dude. And I tell you what, like his wife wouldn't have stayed with him after she knew he was doing all the things he was doing if there wasn't a way out for this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he had to pivot, man. The man's a great businessman and kept him alive.
He's pretty much the poster child for this type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, that there's a way out.
Well, now you can live a
And
normal life with meds, like just normal medication you take or shots or whatever it is. You live a night, and it's not even traceable. So it's, I mean, that's the great thing is it's like in a span of 25 years, it went from a death sentence to it's not a big deal anymore.
yeah, I just had a brain fart, but yeah, like it's kind of crazy. But those were a very tumultuous like 20 years because I remember even when I was a kid, it was still like, ooh, it's like the boogeyman. Like you might be able to get it if you get touched or
No,
sneezed
remember when
on or
people put needles in the gas pumps underneath the handles,
oh
and they would
yeah
say like you would get AIDS and stuff from that?
yeah crazy man, crazy
My
times,
mom's
bro.
like, "Don't touch it. It could be a needle." I'm like, "What the heck?" Oh
Yo,
man, '90s
crazy
fun
man.
times, man. I tell you what, these kids now won't even know anything.
I know these
They
kids
don't even
don't
know
know how
what
good they got it.
floppy disk, basic stuff like you know.
Dude, this might sound crazy, but I miss floppy disks.
I
Like in
don't.
my field, I use I use a lot of like memory disks and stuff, and they're so small now, you can easily lose them. And I'm like, I kind of miss a floppy disk because it was big enough to where I know where it is. It was big and bright, and oh, there it is. Where now I'm like going through my desk, and I'm like, yo, where's this
Why not
damn
just
little
keep it? Why not just keep it
memory
on the
card?
keychain?
That's what I do, but a lot of people like I got a guy gave me a bunch of footage to edit for him, and he gave me this little freaking thing. I'm like, come on, man! Like, he put it in this huge bag. It's like a huge Ziploc bag with one little memory card this big. Like, come on, man. At least put it in a damn case. Come on, dude. This big ass Ziploc bag. All right, come on, man. This flimsy little thing. But yeah, man. These kids don't know how good they have it, and they never will. Back when someone told you something and you had to believe them. Now,
Oh, you mean like driving with the lights on?
Yeah.
It's illegal.
Like now, yeah. Even the fact that now you don't have to turn your lights on manually; they just come on. You know, and because of that, like people you come across, people are like, "What are these?" I'm like, "Those are your daylights." There's a difference between daylight and night lights on your car. They're like, "Oh," I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Too many people are tax deductions, bro. I tell you what.
Like, you don't know how to use a fax machine? No.
Fax machine, jeez. With the thermal paper.
You don't know how to use a printer?
The thermal printer.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the fact that people still have fax machines, I forget, some business I was talking to. Oh, our fax number is like, I'm never going to fax you anything. It's fine.
I know. I look at them. I'm
you
like,
have a fax machine,
bro, I'm probably not even gonna do business with you because you have a fax machine. Bro, like, come on, man.
It's like I can email it to you.
I have an app on my phone that can turn any document into a digital document. Like, are you kidding me?
So it's funny. There's this one time I downloaded an app just to fax it to someone because they only had a fax.
Dude, first of all, you need a phone line to do fax. Like, you got your damn landline, bro. Like, bro, we're in the 2020s now. Get rid of your damn fax machine, bro.
Or are we? So there's this historian that makes the argument that the Middle Ages didn't exist and we're really in the 1700s. The Middle Ages were just made up and the history was made up.
Okay, all right. All right, crazy.
Have you ever heard this?
No. I'm still flabbergasted.
The Magna Carta is just a made up document that someone just like put together back then. It was like, yeah, that document's not real. That doesn't prove anything. It's very fascinating what I was watching. I was like, oh, cool. Going
Another
down this
flat earth type of thing. Oh my gosh. Another person who wants to be clever and think they know more than history. All right, sure. We'll go with that. Whatever. But Dallas Buyers Club, great movie. Just know when you watch it, it's bullshit. It's not true. Ron Woodruff?
Mm-hmm.
Asshole. He's gone now. All right. Dallas Buyers Club, check it out. This has been... I forgot my outro. What's my outro? Oh, be creative, my nomads. Peace. That whole medieval not existent thing just threw me off, bro.
Wait. What movie are we picking next week?
I don't know. Oh, what's your parameters?
Historical fiction.
Okay. Black Panther. Sight now.
Okay.
Nah. That's so. Nah, we already did Troy, so let's do Gladiator. Fuck it.
Okay.
Gladiator. Yeah,
3-hour movie. Let's go.
Or
we've already done Kingdom of Heaven.
Or Hurricane. You ever heard of that movie?
No. What the heck is this?
I just want to show you a poster.
I see the poster. Looks like Bloodsport.
Yeah. Nah. With Are you looking at the same thing I'm looking at with
Yeah,
Denzel?
yeah, Denzel, Liev Schreiber.
Yes. This is historical. Yeah, this goes. This is actually an autobiography movie, a biopic. But they changed things in his story to make it more like entertaining as a movie. Um, so
Kind of like Inglorious Bastards.
yes, yes. This movie, I love this movie, and I think honestly, this is my favorite Denzel performance, and he should have won the Oscar for this.
You know what?
I think it's better than
Here's the thing. So
Training
I know
Day.
the parameters. I know we're going against this, but there's a movie we should both watch and talk
What's up?
about because it's one of the best movies of the '90s. The Schindler's List. Steven Spielberg killed it. It's very long. It's good, and it's got a little bit of everything as a movie maker yourself. Like it's got everything. Plus, it's got Holocaust stuff, a lot of themes, a lot of things we can break into on that. But man, it's everything.
You're gonna make me do it.
I say we do
I've
it.
been
If we
putting
did
this
Passion of
off.
Christ, we got to do this.
I've been putting it off for so long.
Time to do it. We've seen Gladiator
Dude.
how many times? That's the thing.
Oof. We just been picking depressing movie after depressing movie.
It is, but it's one of the best movies like ever. Liam Neeson and Ray Fiennes, fantastic.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 movies that are on my list that are all historical fiction.
Okay.
Schindler's List,
Mm-hmm.
Killers of the Flower Moon,
Mm.
Napoleon. Pick one that you want to talk about next time.
I've seen all of them. I'm not a big fan of Napoleon, just because I don't. Ridley Scott, I feel like I don't know what's happened to his mind, but it's like, where did this come from in terms of Napoleon?
That's how I felt about Prometheus, honestly.
Killers of a Flower Moon is good, but it's trying to be something that it's not. You know what I mean? And Leo is just, I mean, it's good, but no, I really think Schindler's List, dude, because the other ones, I don't think you're going to have enough to talk about. Like, you're going to talk more shit about it than this. And I want you to actually say this is a great movie instead of you wasting your precious 3 hours on the other stuff.
All right, let's do Schindler's List because I've been putting this off for like 20 years, bro.
You know what's fascinating?
I remember
so how's this? How are you going film school and you guys never watch this or talk about it?
We've talked about, I remember just talked about the movie as like a form of adaptation of a real event. We didn't watch it. And I think because the material was so heavy and it was so long that we never watched it. But it has been talked about, just haven't seen it.
So,
and
I mean,
put it on for like 10 minutes.
The thing is now,
stop.
dude, it's like you're having more and more people with Holocaust denialism anyway that it even happened to begin with, or the Nazis weren't who they say they were, right? So it's fascinating to me that you have, you have movies that really hit you hard. You know, Passion of Christ is one of them. You don't even have to align with it religiously. You don't have to align with it in any kind of way, but you see it, you're like, holy crap, what did I just watch? You know?
Yeah.
And I think this is one of them. This like really changes your tune on a lot of stuff, you know. Plus, it's been a long time since I've seen it, like long time.
All right, let's do it. Schindler's List.
Can't wait.
All right, my nomads, you're in for a treat next time. Be creative. Peace. And after you watch these movies, go watch like a comedy or something, man. Like go watch Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Cleanse your palate. Cleanse your palate. All right, my nomads. Peace.